If you're over 60 and feel like your strength, drive, and energy have quietly slipped away, this may shock you. The real reason you're feeling tired, sluggish, and disconnected in the bedroom might not be your age. It might be clogged blood vessels, especially in the areas that matter most to a man. But there's good news. Certain vitamins, yes, simple nutrients, can help restore blood flow, boost testosterone, and reignite your vitality faster than you think. I'm Dr. James. I've spent over 30 years helping men reclaim their performance, their energy, and their confidence without drugs, gimmicks, or empty promises. I've seen men in their 60s, 70s, even 80s turn their health around by making one powerful shift, giving their body the nutrients it's been silently begging for. Most men believe their decline is inevitable, that their only option is to accept it and move on. But what if the real problem isn't age? It's deficiency. And what if 4 essential vitamins could help you feel stronger, think clearer, and perform like the man you remember being? In this video, I'm going to show you the 4 most powerful vitamins for men over 60, vitamins that support energy, circulation, testosterone, and recovery. These aren't fads or quick fixes. They're foundational tools your body needs to function at its best. And be sure to stay with me until the end, because I'll also reveal the most common mistake men make with these vitamins that ruins their results, plus the simple fix that could change everything starting tonight. Before we dive in, if you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. That way you'll never miss another video designed to help men over 60 boost energy, performance, and vitality. And if this message resonates with you, type 1 in the comments. If not, type 0 and let me know how I can better support your health journey. All right, let's get started with the first essential vitamin, and it's one that's often underestimated. You've probably heard of it for boosting immunity, but what most men don't realize is that it plays a critical role in restoring blood flow and circulation, especially where it matters most. I'm talking about vitamin C, and its impact on male vitality goes far beyond fighting off a cold. Let me explain. 1. Vitamin C, the blood flow booster. I'll never forget Robert. He was 67, a retired engineer who spent his whole life fixing things, machines, houses, even helping neighbors with their leaky faucets or broken fences. But the one thing he couldn't fix was himself. When he sat in my office, I could see it in his face. He wasn't just tired, he was defeated. His voice was low as he told me, "I feel like I'm disappearing." He said his energy was gone. His drive had vanished. And what troubled him most was that intimacy with his wife, after 40 years of marriage, had become a memory. Now, here's what might surprise you. Robert didn't have a hormone problem. His testosterone levels were average for his age. What he was really missing was something far more basic and far more fixable. A simple nutrient that plays a central role in how blood moves through your body. Vitamin C. Most men think of vitamin C as the thing you take when you feel a cold coming on. But the truth is, vitamin C is a foundational building block for circulation. It supports the production of nitric oxide, the molecule responsible for relaxing and expanding your blood vessels, especially the ones that allow for a healthy erection. Without enough vitamin C, nitric oxide breaks down too fast. And when that happens, blood can't flow properly to the areas that matter most. Vitamin C also helps your body produce collagen, the protein that keeps your arteries strong, flexible, and able to transport oxygen-rich blood to your muscles, your brain, and yes, your reproductive organs. It even protects the lining of your blood vessels, the endothelium, which plays a critical role in how well your circulation responds during moments of physical or emotional connection. In Robert's case, his levels were far below optimal. We started him on 1,000 milligrams of buffered vitamin C each day, split into 2 doses, morning and early evening. Within weeks, he told me he started waking up with more clarity. His legs felt stronger when he walked, but what stood out the most was when he leaned in and said, "Doc, something's changing. My wife noticed before I did." There was a light in his eyes that hadn't been there before, a sense of possibility. This wasn't a miracle. It was the body doing what it's designed to do once it's given the right support. Studies show that vitamin C can improve blood flow in men with cardiovascular risk factors by up to 50%. That's not just a number. That's the difference between feeling drained or feeling ready. And if you're over 60, you're even more likely to be deficient. Changes in digestion, lower stomach acid, and reduced dietary variety make it harder for your body to absorb what it needs. The good news is you can start correcting that today. Aim for 500 to 1,000 milliliters per day. Choose buffered or liposomal forms if you have a sensitive stomach, and pair it with citrus fruits, bell peppers, or broccoli to enhance absorption. Robert's transformation was real, and I've seen the same story unfold in countless men. But vitamin C is just the first piece of the puzzle, because while blood flow is essential, it's not the only factor behind energy, performance, and drive. There's another nutrient that holds the key to hormone production, prostate health, and stamina, and without it, even perfect circulation might not be enough. Let's talk about zinc. 2. Zinc, the testosterone switch. Let me tell you about Michael. He's 63, a man who once commanded rooms with his presence. A successful business consultant, sharp-minded, confident, and full of drive, at least that's who he used to be. When he came to see me, he sat across from me looking more like a man 10 years older. His shoulders were hunched, his energy was low, and when I asked how he was doing, he gave a half smile and said, "Honestly, Doc, I feel like the spark is just gone." He wasn't just talking about work or energy, he was talking about his identity. His physical strength, his stamina, even his connection with his wife. All of it had faded into something quieter, slower, more distant. It wasn't depression, and it wasn't just aging. It was something more silent, more sneaky, a deficiency in one of the most essential minerals for men over 60, zinc. Zinc doesn't get nearly the attention it deserves, but it should. It's involved in over 300 enzyme reactions in the body, and it plays a key role in testosterone production. That means when your zinc levels drop, your hormones suffer, and so do your energy, your strength, your mood, and your performance. Michael's lab results showed his zinc was well below the healthy range. That might not seem like much, but for a man, low zinc is like turning down the volume on every system that makes you feel alive. Testosterone dips, muscle repair slows, immune strength weakens, and most importantly, your sense of masculinity, the quiet internal rhythm that tells you you've still got it, starts to fade. I started Michael on a protocol, 25 milligrams of zinc citrate each night, taken on an empty stomach before bed. Why before bed? Because that's when your body begins deep repair, when hormones regulate and your system resets. I also advised him to steer clear of zinc oxide, the cheap form found in most drugstore multivitamins, which barely absorbs at all. What happened next surprised even him. Within just a few weeks, he told me he felt a shift. "I don't know how to describe it," he said, "but I feel more like myself again, more steady." His energy was returning. His mood had lifted. And for the first time in over a year, he felt the kind of intimate connection with his wife that used to come naturally. It wasn't about magic, it was about biology. Zinc supports the testicles in producing testosterone. It helps protect the prostate, where the body stores more zinc than anywhere else. It even influences insulin response and blood sugar, which are directly tied to stamina and cognitive clarity. But here's the kicker. Men over 60 absorb significantly less zinc from food. Even if you're eating well, your body may not be getting what it needs. That's why supplementation becomes not just helpful, but necessary. Zinc citrate and zinc picolinate are the two forms I recommend most. They're gentle on the stomach and highly absorbable. For most men, 15 to 30 milligrams per day is plenty, but consistency is key. Michael stayed the course, and by the 2-month mark, he told me something that stuck with me. He said, "I didn't just get my strength back, I got my presence back." And while restoring testosterone is critical, it's only one layer of the foundation. Because even with strong blood flow and balanced hormones, your body still needs something deeper to generate real, lasting energy, and without it, everything else begins to fall apart. Let's talk about magnesium. 3. Magnesium, the muscle and mind restorer. David was 65 and in many ways the picture of discipline. A retired firefighter, still lean and sharp, proud of the fact that he could walk 3 miles every morning without missing a beat. He ate clean, stayed away from alcohol, never smoked. On paper, he was doing everything right. But when he sat across from me, something was clearly wrong. His voice was steady, but his words were heavy. "Doc," he said, "I'm exhausted and I don't understand why. I sleep 7 hours a night, I eat well, I exercise, but every day feels like I'm pushing a truck uphill." Then he paused and said quietly, "Even being close to my wife feels like effort now, and that's the part that scares me." That conversation stuck with me, because David wasn't just tired, he was discouraged, and he's not alone. I see this all the time in men over 60. They've worked hard, they've taken care of themselves, and still their body feels like it's letting them down. The truth is, the missing piece for David and for so many others is magnesium. Magnesium is often called the master mineral, and for good reason. It's involved in over 300 biochemical processes in the body, including how you generate energy at the cellular level, how your muscles contract and relax, and how your nervous system stays calm and steady. But what most men don't realize is that as we age, magnesium absorption drops dramatically. Digestive efficiency declines, and common medications like diuretics or acid blockers can drain magnesium levels even further. In David's case, we ran a micronutrient panel, not just the standard blood magnesium test, which often misses the deeper picture. And sure enough, he was deficient. We started him on 400 milliliters of magnesium glycinate, a highly absorbable, gentle form that doesn't upset the stomach. Within 3 weeks, he noticed that his legs no longer cramped during his morning walks. His sleep became deeper, more restorative. But the most powerful shift, he said, was in his sense of calm. "I'm not snapping at little things anymore," he told me, and my wife noticed, too. That may sound small, but that emotional regulation, that sense of peace, it matters. Especially when so many older men feel like they're losing control of both body and mood. Magnesium helps regulate blood pressure, supports nitric oxide for better circulation, and even plays a role in testosterone synthesis. And yes, it affects performance, not just in the gym, but in the bedroom too. Many men don't know that magnesium is also tied to mental clarity. It helps stabilize brain function, reduces brain fog, and supports mood balance. In fact, several studies link low magnesium to increased risk of depression and anxiety in older adults. Foods like spinach, pumpkin seeds, almonds, and salmon are great natural sources. But honestly, food alone often isn't enough. That's why smart supplementation makes a real difference. David stayed consistent, and by the 6-week mark, his words changed. "I feel balanced," he told me. "My body's not fighting itself anymore, it's working with me again." Now here's the thing. Circulation, testosterone, muscle recovery, these are all pillars of vitality. But there's one more silent player that ties everything together. It affects your bones, your immune system, your mood, and yes, your hormone levels. It's the most overlooked hormone-like vitamin in older men, and its deficiency could be holding back everything else you're trying to fix. Let's talk about vitamin D. 4. Vitamin D, the hidden hormone. James was a 68-year-old retired teacher, the kind of man who always lit up a room with a story or a joke. But when he came into my office, that spark was missing. He told me he couldn't explain it. He wasn't exactly sick, but something had shifted. His mornings started slow, his focus was fuzzy, and even the things he used to enjoy, gardening, reading, walks with his wife, just didn't bring the same satisfaction. He looked me in the eye and said, "Doc, I'm not depressed, but I don't feel like myself anymore." That sentence hit hard, because I've heard it so many times from men his age. They're not in pain, not dealing with anything dramatic, but underneath the surface there's this steady decline in vitality, like someone slowly dimming a light they can't quite turn back on. We ran a full panel, and the results were clear. James had a severe vitamin D deficiency. Most people think vitamin D is only about bone strength or getting sunlight, but that's just scratching the surface. Vitamin D is more than a vitamin. It acts like a hormone, influencing everything from immune health to mood stability to testosterone production. And here's the shocking part. Over 70% of men over 60 are deficient, especially if they live in northern climates, spend most of their time indoors, or have darker skin. When vitamin D is low, testosterone often follows. Cognitive clarity dips, fatigue creeps in. Even mild depressive symptoms can emerge without ever being recognized. It's like your body's internal engine loses its rhythm. I started James on 2,000 IU of vitamin D3 with K2, taken daily with his largest meal. The K2 was important. It helps direct calcium into the bones and away from the arteries, reducing the risk of calcification. We didn't expect an overnight change, but by week 5, something shifted. His wife called me, not him, but her, and said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." He's laughing again. James came in for his follow-up with clearer eyes, stronger posture, and a renewed sense of confidence. "I've got energy again," he said. "Real energy. Like I want to do things, not just get through the day." What's most powerful about vitamin D is how quietly it works. Behind the scenes, stabilizing your mood, fueling your hormones, and protecting your immune system. It supports your bones, yes, but also your heart, your brain, and your sense of vitality. When it's low, you don't just feel weaker, you feel more distant from yourself. Food sources like fatty fish, egg yolks, and fortified dairy can help, but they're usually not enough to meet your needs, especially after 60. That's why supplementation matters. Most men benefit from 2,000 to 4,000 IU daily, especially during the colder months. James's story isn't rare. I've seen men transform just by restoring their vitamin D. And when you combine it with the other three, vitamin C, zinc, and magnesium, it creates something greater than the sum of its parts. It builds a foundation for real, lasting strength from the inside out. But knowing the right vitamins is just the beginning, because most men still make one critical mistake that holds back all their progress, and in the final section, I'll show you what that mistake is and how to fix it, starting tonight. Conclusion. So let's take a moment and bring this all together. If you're a man over 60 and you felt your energy slipping, your focus fading, or your performance no longer matching your desire, it's not a personal failure, and it's not just aging. More often than not, it's your body quietly signaling that something essential is missing. Vitamin C helps restore healthy circulation, giving your body and your bedroom new life. Zinc supports testosterone, fuels your stamina, and reignites the confidence that so many men feel slipping away. Magnesium calms the muscles, clears the mind, and brings balance to your energy. And vitamin D, the hidden hormone, pulls everything together, strengthening your bones, your mood, and your sense of vitality. These aren't trendy supplements. They're the foundation of how your body works. And when you support them consistently, correctly, and with purpose, you give yourself the best possible chance to feel like yourself again. I've seen this happen firsthand. I've watched men come back to life, not just physically, but emotionally. Men who thought their best days were behind them suddenly had more to give, to themselves, to their partners, to the people they love. But here's the truth. None of this matters unless you take action. Start with one vitamin, one habit, one decision to invest in your body again, because it's not too late, not by a long shot. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with a friend, a brother, someone who needs to hear it. And remember, you're not alone in this. You still have strength. You still have purpose. And with the right support, your best years can still be ahead of you.